Somehow it's a journey, one-man journey after love into Iran, losing his love, finding himself and finding so many other things, like when life, the universe takes away one thing, it opens up for many, many, many others. And it's a little bit about that. It's about life experience. It's about pain. It's about love. It's about happiness. But first of all, yeah, some journey through life. There's a lot of Iran in my exhibition. It's like, and the other side of it is everything is Iran in it. You know, I'm using textile from Iran. All the ideas I was born there. I'm collaborating with a few different craftsmen, artists there. So I get them to produce in their traditional way works from my idea, and then I take them and take it further. So in a way, it's a collaboration, and it's a wonderful way to somehow taking craftsmanship into contemporary art, because often in the craftsmanship somehow get really traditional, really stuck, really like one-way thinking. But I think we managed to take that and open it up into something like really exciting contemporary things. So that has a voice into the now. These old traditions somehow are here and now. They are worthy of being exhibited in a new context, and these crafts just become something completely new. The old 1,000 years of tradition suddenly jump into contemporary art, and that's what I love, and I think it's happening in many places right now, and there's something there, definitely. I have these long hand-woven canvases with the portraits. They are really different from the rest of the work, and it's actually interesting thing because I met this craft, and the artist actually is amazing in the north of Iran. And she was doing this craft, her traditional family craft, hand-woven things. And this was something like, okay, I need to work with this woman. And we sat with her a few hours and look at her technique and look at her stuff. It was absolutely amazing. And then I had this idea to take the same idea from I use in the big canvases and to make it into her work. I was so impressed by her work. I wanted something from her, not only to just make the design as I wanted to. I wanted her to be part of this work, like equally to mine. So we asked her to make her own portrait, to make her story into the canvas. It was a really tricky for her because she's working there for a long time, always with the traditional patterns. So she had to jump out of her comfort zone and start to be creative, which she did in such a cool contemporary way. She just nailed it. And And then I have to do my portraits into it. And this was a little bit like a blasphemy to me to touch these things, because it definitely could have been without my touch. But I know she will keep on going and do something magnificent. But it's one of the work I'm most proud of, this collaboration, I think. And I hope that the world will see more from her in the future. And I really want to also take this traditional thing into something contemporary work. And that was no problem, but my partner was a little bit weird, my ex-partner, and Shania, and telling like, yeah, there's a small problem. I might have ruined your textile or your canvas, because I was really mad, and I cut off a piece of it, and I found it actually quite funny at that time. And I asked her, just can you fix it? Can you sew it together? Because and in a really, really obvious way. I just wanted to, like, there's this Japanese tradition of broken things. When things break, you let them, you see the cracks. You fill it off with gold, and you make the cracks like really, really visible. And I wanted to do that, and she did that. And so I have these two big, wonderful works with this Afghan embroidery around this frame that is absolutely wonderful. And somehow it's like instantly I connect to paint inside it, and I think I will keep on doing that. Work more with this, because I'm fascinated by it. Working with a canvas like this needs a completely different approach. This material is not woven for painting. It's a little bit loose, it's open, so it has a completely different qualities, which makes them also very exciting. For me, it's very difficult to paint on it. I don't have my usual flow when it gets very rough, even when I primer it. Maybe you can make it perfect by priming it 5 or 10 times, but I don't want to. I want to keep the quality of the material. That means it sucks in the painting a lot. You have to struggle a lot. The flow is completely different, and that makes me like I never painted before. I'm totally not in my comfort zone, and that's absolutely amazing. And to do hopefully some interesting painting on an extremely interesting material. And also you realize you are dealing with a hand-woven thing that one person spent many, many, many hours to make. It's not produced out of some machine. It's produced of 1,000 years of tradition and practice, and that also makes it a little bit of holy. It's extremely difficult to start when you actually spend time with these people, and how every thread is handmade, every thread is put, and it's something much bigger when you have this knowledge and feeling how much time, how much effort. For them it took generations to learn this and keep the knowledge in the family, and so you have to have a great respect for that. Also have a lot of courage to go into it and fuck it, I want to make something more contemporary, make something exciting, make something completely new, and take the tradition and make it worthy of being here and now. The landscape in Iran influenced me a lot in a weird way, because there are many places that are really similar to Iceland, to the highlands of Iceland. Because Iran is a very high country, and in the mountains, and like there are these deserted places that somehow feels a lot like highlands of Iceland. It's a really, really weird experience. That's the one thing. And then you have the desert, which always fascinates me. Desert always, like, I feel like home. Like redhead guy from Iceland is really weird. I always feel home in the desert. And that may be because we have these black deserts in Iceland where I used to be a lot with my grandfather as a child. So they have an extremely strong impact on me. And that's why I think landscape always, I don't look at myself as a landscape painter at all. I look at myself like I'm exploring painter, but I use landscape somehow to deal with things, to express things. And or just nature more than landscapes, because it's not always about the big pictures, about portraying small things in the nature, and somehow are aligned with my emotion to certain things, to certain stories that I need to talk about. And so yeah, you can call it landscape portraits maybe, and I think in the end it's always a self-portrait. It's me dealing with that image or something, with memory from a certain place, good or bad, or a story from that place. And often many places comes together, and it's like you fill you up with memories. And for me, nature is something that's really important to me everywhere I travel. And it goes into my world, into Jakob's world, where it gets mixed and rotated and then spits out again. And that it becomes a world on its own. It's no longer that place in Iran or that place in Iceland. It becomes an idea of that place, world on its own. That's a very important, and then you can make your own story about it. My paintings look abstract but are extremely realistic. That's for me how I see them. But are they, because they are really realistic to my memory, which I'm really working with. But I think I have some picture when I start, always. And then it's two things. It's like a picture, and it's the performance of painting. When you start, our body takes a part and sometimes takes over. It's the muscle memory. It's that is like a performative memory that sometimes takes over. And things happen and you could never ever have thought of. That something new is born out of memory and performance. So, and then you look at it again, and then okay, I have to keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. It's not like a one-time performance, because my paintings are extremely layered most of the time. So it has also this flow of memories, flow of ideas, and a flow of performance, working together to create something new. A glimpse into Jakob's world, but it's still a picture of its own. It's not reality, but in the same time, it's more real than anything else, because it is what you see. If I'm there, I'm more painting what I see, but not what I feel. So in a way, I need the distance to also disturb the memory a little bit, because what I get when I'm in the nature, I can do with my camera. So it's better to leave the camera alone and breathe it in, make it a part of you, interact with it, be there. Not just go and look it as an image, but as an energy, as a power. You know, this constant transformation in Icelandic nature is very important for me. You know, it's somehow keeping me alive, it's keeping my energy alive. And it's the same way, I think it's very important for my paintings. I am always searching for a way into some new truth, into something exciting, to try to create something that is relevant today and will be relevant in 10 years. And then this power of, maybe a cliche to talk about nature, but there is something that keeps me alive, and also when I get away from it, it drains me. But there is this contrast to, like a volcano, it creates, it destroys, it creates, it destroys. And out of that, something magnificent happened. And in the same way, I think it's exciting in a painting to have the same process, to start something and destroy it, start something in layers. And hopefully in the end, something interesting will appear. The importance of waterfalls for me in my painting or just in real life are very big, because they are some strong sign for many things for me. Like, first of all, visually, they are almost every waterfall has its own beauty, like aesthetic, but it's also a sign of power, of untamed power, and also shows transformation. Like it's a sign of transformation from a quiet stream or a crazy stream into something totally untamed, and it ends up again in something very completely different. So I think it's actually everything I stand for somehow. Transformation, to find my own energy and to express my own energy. And beautiful visualization is something that is always pretty nice. The sea, the ocean in my paintings, you don't feel maybe a lot of that in my painting, but you feel a lot about the black desert sand of Iceland that is next to the sea level, the beach. And for me, that has a big importance for me. That has a huge importance of my childhood, where I spent a lot of my time in the southeast coast with my grandparents. I love the glacier rivers. I swim in glacier rivers. I actually swim in every cold river I can find, and I love it. I love the interaction with the cold. The cold pushes you into some meditative state that is above your pain, above your fear, and really shows you some new aspects of life and recharge your energy. Nature is very important for me and my sanity somehow. It's really important that regularly I stay alone in nature to recharge my battery. Sometimes I feel completely empty, and then it's the only thing that I can get in touch with myself again is to go into nature, lie there and push my energy back, swim with the icebergs, swim in the glacier river, interact with the cold, interact with nothingness, interact with myself without my cell phone. You know, back to basic. It's just, yeah, that's where I recharge and become myself again. My space is as most important part of the process as the painting itself, and the space becomes the process. So what you see in my space, even though I really have been reducing everything, it somehow become a part like of documentation, you know? When you come into my space, you see the documentation, what has been happening here. And it's, you know, it's for my creative process, it's really important to mess it up naturally, slowly. You know, I go, and people say, hey, just go there and paint. It doesn't work like this. My energy has to touch everything inside. My energy has to become the space. You have to come, open the door, and this is Jakob Veigar space. You have to feel it instantly.
Þetta er flott. Ertu ekki glaður með þetta sjálfur?
Jú, ég er mjög glaður. En þú veist, það er alltaf, ekkert, þú veist, það þarf ekkert mikla lýsingu. Það má alveg vera svona...
Hanging that Jakob is working on now is quite interesting. I think it's really nice that he's using this space because this museum has quite nice high ceilings, and he's really making an installation of his paintings, which I find very interesting, and also with his history, where he's weaving his own artwork with these Iranian artists. I'm excited myself to see the final result. It is actually happening right now. But he has been telling me about it along the way. So for me, I love experimental art, and in this sense, this is experimental. He doesn't really know the end result until it's up, but we get a good feeling of how it is going to take over the whole space, and this is what I am really interested in.
The last year of painting for this exhibition, I thought a lot about the hanging and how I would, and I visualized a lot. I did so many sketches, and it's actually like preparing a painting itself. You know, it takes months to start to, in your mind, and you are making sketches, you make tryouts, and then you're there. And somehow the paintings always has its own life. And the same thing is happening here. This exhibition is taking its own power, its own life. So I somehow have to let things happen here. It's kind of a performance to let it come to life in there. So all my ideas, sketches are still there, but something completely different is happening out of that, actually. I feel like it's happening. It's like actually very intense emotions. I want to cry, actually. Maybe I go and cry a little bit. It's much. Yeah, you've been having something in your mind for months, for years. Finally it's there, and it's fucking insane, actually. And key for this exhibition to look at it, I will say for people, start with no expectation. Just go there, give your mind a free card to walk around and see what's happening within you. Go there like you were going for a picnic into a forest. Just sit down and let it sink in, and let the experience just come to you without judging. Start there.